All right, two videos. We're on a roll. All right, this one came to me yesterday. So, when someone asks for your opinion, but then interrupts you, they don't really care. Let them talk, observe the words, and watch the actions. I had to learn that the hard way. Since 2015, I've always found myself working for companies that will ask for my opinion, but then when I start speaking, they'll immediately interrupt me. Immediately interrupt me, redirect the conversation, take over the conversation, manipulate the conversation, dismiss me, and that be that. And it's kind of one of those things. It obviously bothered me for a long time, when I worked at that company, because I worked so hard to build the brand. And it was the same conversation over and over again with the owner of the company. And he'd ask me, how do you do it? How do you do what you do? I'd go to answer it. He'd immediately interrupt me. I'm like, why are you even asking me? Why do you ask me the question if you're just going to immediately interrupt me? Make it make sense. And so it got to the point where it was like, okay, I'm not going to answer it. Like, what's the point? You're going to interrupt me. So I've learned how to kind of keep my answers very vague, because it just was pointless. It was pointless. Unfortunately, we live in a world, it's a dog eats dog world, survival of the fittest, especially if you're in the business world for a woman. It is hard at a lot of times. And I'm not saying it's not difficult for men too, but I know for me, it's been difficult for me working in a man's world. And I've always found myself working in a man's world. And so it just got to the point. So now I'm at a place where it's like, if somebody asks my opinion or asks my thoughts on things or asks me how I feel and then immediately interrupts me, it automatically tells me they don't care. They don't care. So it's like, it's null and void. The conversation is done, right? I know where I stand. I know where they stand. And it is what it is. There's no harm. There's no foul, right? It's just, okay, noted. We're going to table it and we're going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to waste my time and energy trying to figure out reasons why people act or do the things they do, and asking people questions and then immediately interrupting them is not something I'm ever going to understand. But there's a lot of people that do it. There's a lot of people that do it in the business world, and there's a lot of people that do it in your personal life. And, if that's cool with you, cool. It's not cool with me. I try really, really hard to give people space to talk and listen to what they say, and allow the conversation to go. I'm really, really methodical with talking to people, because everybody deserves an ability to use their voice and say what they want to say. And people deserve to have a space and freedom in speaking, and sharing their thoughts, sharing their opinions, sharing their feelings. And so I'm not perfect by any means when it comes to interrupting or things of that nature, but I definitely genuinely try, because I know what that feels like to be just like shunned or like shushed. And it sucks. It sucks, especially when people ask you, a question, and then you go to start answering and they immediately just like cut you off. It's like, man, bro, come on. Why'd you even ask me? And so I felt compelled to make a video regarding that. Is like, just be mindful of the conversations that transpire around you, transpire with you. Just listen to people's words, listen to their words, and then watch their actions. Do their words align with their actions? Do they say one thing and do another? Because here in the last year and a half, as soon as I started listening to people's words and then watching their actions, it was two different things. It was literally two different things. They did not make sense. They say one thing, but do another. And it's like, at that point, you have to be held accountable, because you're not looking at the true picture that is in front of you, right? Because we want to see the best in people, or better yet, we want to fit in. Or better yet, we're having to be conformed to whatever the conformity we're having to be conformed to, so we get paid. And that's the truth. That is the truth. That is the mechanics of the world right now. And so I felt really compelled. So if you find yourself on the fence where people ask you your opinions and ask you how you feel and they immediately interrupt you or they redirect the conversation, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. They're just not in a position to hear what you got to say. And that's a them thing. That is a them thing. So take that, put it in your back pocket, table it, listen to the words that they're saying, and then follow their actions. They want the podium so bad because they keep interrupting you, right? So give it to them. Give it to them. And then listen to them. And then watch their actions. And if they don't align, if their words don't align with your actions, there's your answer. There's your answer. It completely is. It works every single time. That's in a personal life. That's in my love life. That's in my business life. That's in every single life. If you follow that solution, you will land on the truth. You will land on the answer. I can assure you of it. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day. Happy Thursday. Love you guys.